Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the long-awaited WODcast podcast. I am Eddie Ift. I am here with Jason Winn. Did I say that correctly?
You did, yes.
That's not a hard name to say, but I fuck up everyone's. I did not mess that one up. We're going to have a great show today. I want to talk to you about a couple of things before we start the show. I just wanted to congratulate our winner of the Myopuck's Leopard Claw the Patreon award. We give away a Myopuck's and a Leopard Claw every single week, not just to our guest, but also to one of our patrons. Anybody that donates over $5 to Patreon can receive possibly one of these Myopuck's, which is a TENS machine, electronic muscle stimulator. It's amazing to flush all the waste out of your body into your lymphatic system, and then a Leopard Claw, which you use to mash up all that bad junk going on in your bones and muscles. So check this out at myopucks.com, and the winner will receive one. And this week's winner, Nivaldo Carbonell. So Nivaldo Carbonell, we'll be contacting you, getting your address, and sending one out. So congratulations. Izzy is happy for you too. And guys, always, if you want to go through WODcast podcast site and use the Thrive Market, click through. You get onto Thrive Market, join there. It helps out the show. Or you can give to our Patreon, and you can watch all these video versions. I think I'm just going to give you a little taste of it. This one is live on, we're in the Bingle Bus, so we're filming it live on the WODcast podcast YouTube page, and you can watch it. So we're filming it. Hopefully you enjoy just watching us. It's a little weird to know that you're watching me, but whatever. Anyway, let's start the show. I am here tonight with a very nice gentleman. We'll get to how I know him. Former athlete, still an athlete.
Arguably.
Not the same kind of athlete. I mean, there's a real difference there. You used to
play football.
Yeah.
Used to.
Not a lot of football players go from football to triathlons.
True.
How did that happen?
There's a bit of a dark period in the transition there. I think you're going to enjoy it.
A lot of partying?
You can relate to, yeah. This is the fun part. I don't get to talk about as much anymore. Yes, I played college football.
What'd you play?
I was a quarterback.
Okay. What school?
Texas Tech University.
Oh, wow. Texas. Oh, you were down in the serious.
Yeah. It's God, football, and then everything else just kind of finds.
I thought football came before God there.
Yeah. It's arguable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've seen the movies.
Yeah.
And Texas Tech's a pretty good school for football, huh?
Yeah. It's a Big 12, or was the Big 12.
What year did you play?
So I was there 2000, 2001. Okay. I backed up behind my good friend Cliff Kingsbury, who's now the head coach there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. And then B.J. Simmons, who's the head of, was in there as well as a Heisman candidate. So I get to have fun. I get to sit back and travel and have fun.
But a backup quarterback, that's like the best job in the world.
I think so, yeah.
You never get hit.
Yeah, you never get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to party.
Yeah, you get all the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully you get that like called in the last minute and get to save the game.
Yeah. Or you get called in when you're getting beat up against a Texas A&M and they just get shit kicked out of you there too. So, and
then you ruin the game and the whole school wants to kill you. I'm sure down in Texas that's how it is too.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's serious.
I heard a story once that I went to Pitt, and I heard once they lost a game to Penn State, and it was just a drive, so they bussed back. It was 2.5 hours. They're in the bus, and the kicker missed a field goal at the end of the game, and apparently they locked him in the bathroom for the ride home.
Yeah.
You know, that's bad. Like when you're a kid and you're thinking the coaches are at least going to go let him out, and the coaches are like, fuck him. Let him stay in there. You know?
And it didn't get any better, I'm sure, for that kid.
No. I can't imagine the pressure on a kicker. Because you're not even like part of the team. You're like this random dude that just stands on the sideline and kicks balls all day long.
There's no upside.
And then they call you in for 5 seconds. You can win. It's like make or break. And you go off either being a hero, but you're never really the hero. Nobody's
No.
There aren't girls going, I want to bang the kicker. That's never been said. That's like saying the bass player, That's not even the bass player. That's the guy who like installs the kick drum.
There you go.
So then you but if you lose, you're that guy that everybody on campus wants to murder.
Oh man. Yeah, they want your head. They want your head.
So let's get into the ugliness. So you finished football.
So when I was done playing, went into bartending.
Oh, nice! That's always
it's always a good one in your early 20s to get into. So bartending for a while, was at a dive bar out in Woodland Hills, and then in California, out in the Valley, and then
where are you originally from?
So originally from the Valley, out in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, really?
In Chatsworth, yeah.
Okay,
and then New Jersey.
Okay,
roots.
That's weird.
Went back there for a bit. All my family's back there, and then came back. So that's and from there on.
I was in Chatsworth yesterday because my iPhone cracked, and I went to the Apple store, and they were like, "Here, we're going to give you a new one, but you need to go to." I forget wherever it was. It's where the big earthquake. The
Northridge, yeah.
So they're like, go to the Northridge Mall, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. That's where the earthquake happened, and that's on a fault line. And they were like, you got it. That's the only place. I'm like, you're Apple. Like this is all you do. You make iPhones. Yeah. You can't have them here. And they're like, no, you got to go to Northridge. That's near Chatsworth, I think.
It is neighbor. Okay. Yep.
So you came back here. You were bartending.
Yeah, so bartending, and then I was at a dive bar, and then at a honky tonk. Out in Thousand Oaks called the Borderline, which is great.
That sounds like fun.
A lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. And then partying a lot, drinking a lot, and then late nights, of course, working hard. But I was not. But at the time, I was getting up. I was getting home at 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Sure.
And then getting up at 7 and running and trying to stay in shape and trying to stay an athlete for my own psychological.
I think that happens to a lot of athletes. You get out of your sport, and you're like, I can't let this go. Like I don't want to. You can't play football anymore because then you're not getting that call from the NFL. I assume.
Nope.
And so you were like, what do I do? So.
Yeah. And then, so you got to find a way to stay in shape. And where's the high come from? Where do you get the drug of that?
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of it is missing with a lot of athletes. I mean, and I kind of went through it too, the camaraderie, and then the being responsible. You're supposed to be here at a certain time every day. Here's your regimen.
You're so lucky you never found CrossFit. You're so lucky you would have fallen right into it.
Still might. Yeah. But, from then, and then I got a bike. The Lance Armstrong. That was the Lance Armstrong phase where it was hot. Everybody wanted to get into cycling. It was cool.
Yeah.
And as bad as, unfortunately, as things turned out for his reputation, he did a lot of good in that sense, and he inspired a lot of people to buy a bike. And so got into started riding, and then.
That's funny.
The triathlon?
Lance Armstrong did for triathlons and biking what CrossFit did for sport, health or strength and conditioning. Yeah. Because CrossFit did a lot of good, but it did some bad. A lot of people are walking around going, I tore my ACL, or I've got a meniscus, or whatever's wrong. But for every one of those, there's 10 people that are running around going, hey, I'm 40 and I'm doing shit I never thought I could do.
Yeah. And they're stoked. They feel like they belong, right? Yeah. They have a small little community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even give a shit that Lance was doing what he was doing. I was like, hey, I liked watching it when Lance was there. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Everybody was doing it. Yeah. No kidding.
He was the Tiger Woods.
Yeah, totally. Magnetic. Yeah. Right? Totally magnetic.
I have not watched one cycling event since he left. I watched everything when he was around. Yeah. Not one. Yeah. And so. Yeah. Way to go, French. Hope you're happy. Your sport's dead now, you fucking French idiots. You can't use drugs. Oh, yeah, get out. Okay, go back into eating your ramen noodles now. Enjoy your bike ride while no one watches your dumb race. Let the druggies back. Sorry. I'm losing my mind. Had a tough day.
It's been a long day.
So
from there, got into sprint triathlon, almost drowned.
That's like
came out of it.
That's the gateway drug.
That's the gateway drug right there. Yeah, totally.
Sprint.
That's the one. It's a short one. Doesn't hurt too bad, and it's over in an hour. And all of a sudden,
for you, because I've done them. It wasn't an hour.
I was throwing up ocean water, but from there, I was like,
"What was your first one? The Malibu one?"
It was Hermosa.
Okay,
Hermosa Beach Triathlon.
Okay,
and got it. Got out, had something to eat. After that, I was like, I want to do a fucking Ironman.
Really? You got it that quickly?
That quickly.
See, I had the opposite.
Really?
I got out. I sprinted from the finish line. It was the Moraine State Park Triathlon in Pennsylvania. I sprinted straight to the Porta-John. Shit like I've never shit in my entire life. I mean, it was like I didn't know my bowels could open up like that. And it was just like, and I was like, I'm sorry, toilet. I think I apologized to the Porta-John. I came out and I was like, I'm never doing that again. That was the worst experience of my life. And then I did a couple more. I think I did like 3 more. Yeah. And I don't know why. Every time I was like, I'm going to do it again. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. But you said you went for sprint to... Did you do some Olympic in between?
Didn't know. Straight to an Ironman.
Straight to Ironman.
Yeah, it was kind of mad. So I just got hooked. I got hooked. I got the drug and was like obsessed with it, and just signed up for an Ironman. Held me accountable for it.
So you'd bartend at night, and then train all day.
Train all day, yeah.
And how many hours were you training?
God, probably. I trained the wrong way. I just overtrained just because I loved it, and you just get, which is easy to do once you're in it like that. But a day, I don't know, probably 5 hours a day between some sort of run and ride and brick workout and swim. I mean, it was always something. Could never stop.
So a lot of the reason I got into it, because way back in the day before CrossFit even existed, I was like, hey, I want to hang out with like healthy people. AKA I want to meet hot, fit chicks. And then I went to the races and I'm like, this is the most, there was like lonely environment ever. Everybody's into their own shit. No one's talking. There's no camaraderie. There's no hashtag community. There's no, it doesn't exist. And I was like, this is no fun. And when I would train, I was out there like for 2 hours on my bike alone or running for an hour. I was like, this is just lonely. Yeah. Weren't you lonely doing those?
It's lone. That's the problem with it. It's lonely unless you have unless you're with a group.
Yeah.
Or you have a good training buddy. It's lonely. And that's why a lot of endurance athletes, extreme endurance athletes,
right?
They're, it's, a little strange. Some can be a little strange. You spend so much time alone.
Yeah,
you're just out there, and like the ultra marathon runners. I
think it's the same with CrossFitters. Yeah. I think you're all weird if you're one of those like 3 times a day people. You're weird if you're in the gym 3 times. Yeah. But the thing with CrossFit is they'll work out for 15 minutes, then they go hang out in the gym, talk to everybody, eat, get some, and then they go back to another workout. So they're in a group setting, and that's all their friends and everything. So I do understand that, but you guys, like Sundays, wouldn't you go out for like 6 hours on the bike? Stack
it on Sunday, yeah. And the thing is, like, you've got to, which is interesting, which I realized as I was getting into it, is that the ones who are doing these ultra endurance events, you have to go to a dark place. You have to go to a dark place, and all of them sort of do. Like, there are some demons in there, which is what keep them going. And that's, there's a drug. It's healthy. It's a healthy release outlet. It's therapy for them.
Yeah. We talk about that on the show, that CrossFit is the sport of suffering. And it is the guy who wins the competitions is the one who suffers the most or the best. Mm-hmm. The one who's able to handle the pain the most. There's more to it, but suffering helps. And I don't know if it's masochistic or what it is about ultra guys. I listened to David Goggins on Rogan, and I was like, he keeps talking about how he's normal. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Oh, he's not.
And there's something really deep. Like, I love him. He's inspirational. He's great. I think about it all the time. But there's something deeply, deeply out of the ordinary. I'm not going to say wrong, but for you to be able to hurt yourself like that, you have something in your brain that's different than most people. And I don't think most people can do what he does. Like, he thinks he's not out of the ordinary and that everyone has the ability to do this. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Not voluntarily, at least, right? And if you had to, maybe if there was something that was serious on the line, you had to do it. Okay. He voluntarily does it. He needs to.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the difference. He needs to do that or else he's not right.
So this is all coming weirdly full circle. The reason I had you on the show tonight was 2 of my buddies last weekend did the Maryland Ironman. Right. Three of my buddies. And they were all like, you're going to do it with us. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing it. And they're like, next year. And I'm like, well, you guys are going to do this again?
This Ironman?
Yeah. So they did the Maryland Ironman. Mm-hmm. And about 2 weeks before it, my buddy's down in Stone Harbor, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And he's going out for a jog. And he takes a picture, sends him. He goes, look who I ran into. And it's David Goggins. Oof. And he's like, I just asked him if I could go for a run with him. So they went for a run together. He hasn't, but I'm talking to my friends as they're getting ready for this. And I kind of got a little involved. And I found it very interesting that they were doing it. And I said, what are you doing nutrition-wise? And he's like, I'm doing this. And then 2 of the guys go, and we do bonk bars. And I'm like, I know the owner of this company. Like, what? Holy shit. So we can get into that later. But they swore by them. They used them. Jason, by the way, is your partners, right?
Yeah, so a founder, and then my partner Chris Frank is a co-founder as well.
So how did your triathlon career? How many Ironmans did you do?
I did 1 full one.
Okay.
And then 6 half Ironman.
Why did you step down to the halves then?
Yeah, it was it was a life changer, the full, for sure. It was incredible. But you know what it was? It inspired me to create Bonk Breaker.
Oh, really?
So then I started doing something.
Did you hit a wall on your Ironman? A bad one?
Absolutely, yeah.
What happened? Crippling?
Yeah, felt like it at the time, but then, it was more of, I hit a wall and I couldn't eat out there because of what was served on course.
Yeah.
A friendly competitor of ours at the time was was a sponsor, which was at the aid stations. It was at mile 40 on the bike. And at the time, you're drinking and drinking. It's hot. It was up in Northern California. And, then I know I need to eat. So I'm grabbing another competitor's bars and I'm trying to take a bite. I'm taking a bite. I'm chewing. My jaws are burning. I can't swallow. I'm reaching for my water bottle, trying not to crash. Finally, I took another bite and I just chucked the bar. I was so frustrated. There's so much effort to eat. And then, get off the bike and then do the and then you're into the marathon part. And then there's cut up peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
At every marathon.
I've heard that.
Then, which is like, wow, this is it right here. And so afterwards, the event finally shuffled my way to the finish line. And that next week, I was just thinking about, gosh, there's got to be a better way, right, to eat more enjoyable something. And I've just been a fanatic personally on peanut butter and jelly, just growing up. I still do. I eat a jar of peanut butter a week. It's the perfect energy food. So the initial idea behind it was there are gels and then there are bars. So gels are for quick energy. A quicker sugar burst of energy, right? And then the bar is more of a sustained energy with fats and carbohydrates and protein, right? And getting the best of the 2 products which are most frequently used and needed out there, take the best and make a product that creates the best of both worlds, right? So there's a quick energy and there's a sustained energy in the bar, and then combining those 2 so it's moist so you can get it down. So you can actually chew it and get it down.
So moist is really important.
That's an important part.
People don't get that.
Yeah. I mean, the reputations of an energy bar were always, and in a lot of cases still are, another piece of bark or, sawdust is dry. You can't get it down.
Yeah, I did one.
A bottle of water.
I did one in one of my first or second triathlon, and I was like puking it up. It just wouldn't get down. And I was like, I need this. And I was only doing a short one, and I did it right at the beginning because I just didn't feel well when I came out of the water. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to eat a bar, and hopefully I'll have, it'll hit me at the end of the, I forget how long that triathlon was. But I was like, and I just was puking it up, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then I did the gels. I ran a marathon once that I just gelled the whole way. Mm-hmm. And those were tough. A lot of people liked them. they did give me that burst. I was telling a girl last night during the marathon, I go, you feel those bursts of energy, and she goes, I'm taking jelly beans. Yeah. She said it's the same shit. It's the exact same thing. She's like, I'm just taking jelly beans instead of the gel. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't know about either. I said I had trouble with the gels even, and then I ran a marathon without any of it. And I would just stop at the aid station and drink the drink, and it was better than the gels for me. But, you know, most of the guys that listen to this show are CrossFitters, and their energy levels are not going, 20 minutes is all they need. So it's all what they eat prior. But there's a lot of guys who, living a healthy lifestyle, you're going from the gym somewhere and you got to throw a bar in your bag or something, and you want something that's like protein, a little bit of carbs, the fewer carbs the better, but good fats, whatever it is. And I was liking RX bars a lot until I'm on this new diet where I can't eat carbs like I could. And I was looking through your stuff. You've got one bar that's very low in carbs.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose of that one?
Yeah. So that's a new one. That's a new line of ours. It's our premium protein bar, which we call it. And so this over the past years, so
how long you've had the company?
Yeah, so I'll start there to kind of make this all link up appropriately. So this, what I was explaining before with the initial creation of creating our first peanut butter and jelly.
How'd you do it? Were you like bar. In the kitchen? You did it yourself?
Yeah, my mom's apartment kitchen. I was bartending and then doing that like during the day, and then making a mess of her kitchen. And my sister, who's just awfully brutally honest to a fault, was the perfect person to kind of be a tester, because she just tell you, oh, this tastes like shit. It's not going to do anything. What are you doing?
So
Stop wasting your time.
You cooked this all up yourself.
Yeah.
Make these bars.
Yeah. We started making them, and it was a peanut butter and jelly again. It's just so for myself and my friends, I was like, nobody who's making a peanut butter and jelly bar, which is such a popular flavor at the time, and or still is. It's our bestseller, but nobody was making that flavor, and so I was like, this is the best quick energy, sustained energy combination, but it's real food. And the idea behind it was that every ingredient in our bar, your body knows what to do with and how to digest it, which will avoid any gut discomfort, any digestion problems when you're most vulnerable, when you're active, right? When you're on a longer endurance event, your body's like it just inhales everything, right? And so that was the idea of it all. There were the bars that were out there, Cliff, for example, or Power Bar, and Cliff, they're good friends of our great company. But that was also something like a benchmark where it was like, okay, we can do this better. How, a stupid 23-year-old myself, no business experience at all, no nutrition degree, but just a passion for I'm just geeky about natural nutrition, thought, oh, we can do.
Were you always eating healthy?
Yeah. I mean, and that was the thing. Back in when I was playing even Pop Warner football, I'd come home from school, and I would make sure I'd make myself mashed potatoes, like quick mashed potatoes, because one of my coaches told me they had potassium, so I wouldn't cramp. And so I always paid attention to it.
Yeah, but I always said that too. I went where the education was at the time.
Yeah.
But the education was, I swear to God, when I played football in high school, at halftime, we would come up to the gym and the coach would talk to us, and we'd all sit in the gym, and they would pass out a Coca-Cola to every single one of us, and we would all drink a Coke, and they were like, hey, you need your sugars, get your sugars back in you. And it was I mean, so whatever they were telling me was good, I was always doing what's good. But now I think we're so much more advanced than we were, 10, 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right. Your intentions were good. Yeah. And now, who knows? I mean, I think about it all the time. I rack my brain about it. Like, okay, well, what are we complicating it too much now?
Yeah.
You know, and which I'd like to say on that is in those early days when we were creating Bonk Breaker, it was very, very simple, overly simple compared to what was out there. It was the metrics days and the Power Bar days and all those guys, and there's a lot of ingredients being used, and synthetic vitamins being added in. And then we came in, real food, everything your body knows what to do with, how to digest it, more of like a 12 ingredient thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
List or deck. And then it goes to, then you have the Laura bars and then RX, right? Where it's like, that's just a handful of ingredients where it's like, I have a hard time with it because I feel like that's overly simplified.
Yeah.
Because now it's not giving enough sophistication or thought to what sports nutrition should be. Right. Somebody who's having a snack or going on a walk or just trying to live an active lifestyle, just a healthier active lifestyle. Great. That's perfect. Right. However, for world-class athletes, we provided the U.S. Olympic swim team in Rio. But then kids as well, kids soccer to, I almost dropped names, but the premier NFL teams and players, for everything that they do and train for, they can wear a specific player, NFL superstar can wear Under Armour cleats or Nike cleats. Will it change his game that much? Maybe not. But what they put in their engine, what they feed in their engine, that can really affect the game, right?
We have a couple sponsors. One of them is, Myopucks and the Leopard Claw, which always help us, which, Jason, you will get a Myopucks, you will get a Leopard Claw. If that sounds like I'm going to do some sexual maneuver to you in the front of the bingo bus, it is. It does sound a little weird. I'm going to give you a Myopucks, then I'm going to give you a Leopard Claw, and then you're going to walk out and you're going to feel shame.
In front of the Bengal bus.
No, what you're going to do is, Jason here is a triathlete, and you probably have lots of injuries all the time, and Myopucks is going to flush all the waste out of your body. Again, sounds dirty, but you're going to get it's a TENS machine, and you hook it up, and I need it right now. I got a bad shoulder, and as soon as I finish the show, I'm going to go and hook it up and flush all the inflammation and bad stuff out of my shoulder into my lymphatic system. And I'll sometimes work on my elbows a lot with the Leopard Claw, which is it's I'm not allowed to use the word Graston, but I just did. It's kind of like a Graston. Have you ever had one of those done to you? Oh, it's brutal, but it really works good. It gets rid of all the fascia and everything. So you'll get one of those. If you guys want to check that out, go to myopucks.com. I think they give you a certain percentage off, like 5, 10 something percent, if you use WODcast podcast. New sponsor, which is a brilliant, genius idea. Want to talk to you about fist, and I'm messing it up already, but it is a genius idea. You guys out there, I was just over at Paradiso CrossFit, and David was hiring a new coach. I don't know where he found him. I hope he didn't go on Craigslist, because that's like year 2000. You don't need that anymore. What you're going to do now is go to fitlist.com. That's fitlist.com. It's an app, pretty simple. It's basically a job place. You're going to go, if you're in the health and fitness world, it's a new talent platform, job board for fitness, endurance, overall health and wellness industries, launched last month. It's brand new. Founder's former military veteran, not former veteran, he is a veteran, and he's a former fitness studio manager, and he had this idea. It's a great idea. Basically what it is any box gym studio owner, they're going to use it to find qualified talent. So if you're looking for a job or you want to find someone for the job, it's your that's where you go to recruit them. That's where you go to place yourself. So if you're talent or you're recruiting, get on there, and it's pay-as-you-go price. So it's for fitness professionals or anyone wanting to work in the space. It's free to use. How about that? So find coaching, group training, all kinds of other jobs in the health and fitness space. IT job at a fitness technology company. Maybe somebody to help me with this IT shit with the, I'm going to go on there after this to find somebody to help me film this show because I'm having so much trouble doing it. Maybe brand ambassador, sponsorships, whatever. All those jobs are there. This thing's going to grow. Become a part of it now. Fitlist.com. And how about this? If you're looking for talent, use the code WODcast for 25% off any job package or subscription. How about that? Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned the kids. My wife brought some home the other day that you had given her, and my daughter was like, I want some. Everything new. I want to. And she doesn't understand that it's a sports bar, and she just sat down on the couch and just munched down. I was like, that's good. She was like, that's really good. And I was like, and I love that when she likes stuff like that. I'm like, oh, perfect. Because we try to feed her really healthy. And so anytime anything, and I don't try to trick her, but like she sees something coming out of a package like that in her head, she's probably like, oh, that's candy. And then she just ate it and she's like, oh, good. And she just kept going. I was like, yep, you go, girl. That's, as long as you want to eat stuff like that, Dad's fine with that.
Right on, cool.
Yeah. So
never gets old to hear.
Yeah. But so we should go back. So you're making them at home. You're testing them out, and were you taking them to races and giving them to friends?
Yeah. So we give them to friends, and then give them to a friend of mine's kids. He kind of offered up his kids to test them out, because that was perfect. It's like, okay, adults, they'll go out to a 5K run, and you have a middle-aged adults out there, and they'll be polite about it. They'll take a bite, and if they don't like it, they'll be, oh, okay, walk around the corner and spit it out. But then with kids, they don't give a shit. They'll spit it out right in your face. They don't care how you feel. They don't care what's in it. They don't care how you feel. If it's all selfishly motivated. If it doesn't taste good to me, then it's going right back on the
Kids
plate.
are evil.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I heard Chris Rock talking about it one night at the Comedy Cellar. He was like, they say like racism is taught. And he's like, the kids don't grow up evil. He's like, have you met kids? He's like, they're the worst people in the world, because that's why we have to raise them. Because if we didn't, they'll like kill you. Yeah. They'll murder you. Like they're awful. The things they say, the things they do, and you have to like stop that. Don't do that. And you train them to be like civilized human beings. So I can just imagine, oh my God, like my daughter crushes my self-esteem on a daily basis. Daddy, why are you wearing that stupid hat?
Put on your Kevlar before you come home. Emotional Kevlar.
Yeah, emotional. So testing it out, it's going well.
Yeah. So from there on, we're, the next is in this kind of, I'll lump up the next 5 years or so, was bartending throughout the day. And then on weekends, every Saturday and Sunday, I was at some sort of event.
Oh, nice.
Religiously, a 5-10K run, triathlon, cycling crit, which those were the sort of the types of athletes which were more right on a silver platter for an energy bar or something.
They just did the crit event at the CrossFit Games this year.
Oh, did they really?
They added that to the games. It was pretty funny to watch. Yeah, some nice wipeouts.
Yeah, that can get ugly.
A few fun wipeouts.
Yeah.
We were predicting way more.
Yeah.
We were like, this is gonna get so awesome, and it did. I got to be honest, I was very let down that there weren't. I don't want people to get hurt, but I was just hoping to see and there were a few. Not horrific, but good.
Yeah, my partner's he's a sprinter in cycling, and he's one of those guys who would just like try to pin people into a phone pole, into a telephone pole, put them in the gutter. It's it gets that ugly. I don't participate in that shit now.
Yeah, sprinting on a bike seems terrifying to me. I raced BMX as a little kid, and I never got to the level where I was good enough or old enough where it could get ugly. But I look back and I'm like, oh, that's harmless. You're on a tiny little bike. How fast are you going? As fast as you can. But on a road bike, you're flying
hitting like 40 plus miles an hour, and it's scary.
Yeah,
it's a different mindset of not cool.
Yeah,
but so those next 5 years we're just handing everything out, sampling them, giving them away. I'd pack up at the bar, say a Friday night, pack up, close down, put my little tent in the back of my truck, and be out of there by 3 a.m. to be down in San Diego or Orange County by 6 a.m. to set up the expo for.
Now this is Southern California,
California.
There's a lot of races. There's a lot of races going on. You're in a good market.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Totally. This has got to be your top market where you're selling. San Diego is, I think, the triathlon capital of the world.
Yeah, it's San Diego and Boulder is where all the triathletes live. Yeah, it's
a lot in the Gold Coast of Australia too.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So, is it a hit right away?
Yes. But in your face, you would assume so. The feedback we heard. It was myself and my mom at the time. It was like she was helping out a bit. at those events, and then and so yeah, people loved him. Whoa, loved him. Where can I buy him? Shit, we forgot about that part. There's no online store.
That's
There's
hysterical.
no Amazon at the time.
How many years ago is this?
So this was, 2006 through, really through 2011,
Okay.
I'd say. Till my partner, Chris Frank, and I partnered up and really sort of built and structured a business out of it. But it was just me slinging. I'd stock all the product. We finally worked our way into an artisan bakery, and then would work out of a storage unit, I'd bartend at night and then go over there during the day, pack up orders and ship them out, and then
holy shit,
boom, that was during the week, and then on the weekends we're at an event. Just
now where are you guys located? Are you down in Santa Monica?
We're in Santa Monica, yeah, off Pico, yeah.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
And so that's headquarters.
That's headquarters. Just moved to a bigger, nicer.
And so your markets are triathletes. Who else is big into?
So yeah, endurance athletes. And that's always been our core, and our roots really, which was a focus. Our goal is always to let's own this niche, this tip of the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
They're very type A.
Yeah.
They'll spend an extra whatever it is on something that they want or that works for them. They're not going to look for the cheapest thing on the rack. It's if they know what works and they know what they want, they'll spend it.
I say that about cyclists all the time. I'm like, I don't think cyclists are people that like to ride bikes. I think they're people that like to wear spandex. They just, it's like people that ride bikes. It's like they almost join not for the bike riding, but for the gear. Because you see them. One day they buy a bike, the next day they've got the glasses, the helmet, the visor, the mirrors on the sides, the shoes, the socks, the bibs, and they've got 4 different kinds of shorts and the pads and you're like, oh, you didn't get into this to ride, you got in this to shop. You just want to buy shit. And my buddies that are triathletes, it's like, one day they were wearing a t-shirt and board shorts running, and now I see them and I'm like, are you wearing rainbow reflective sunglasses right now? What the fuck is wrong with you? And they're every kind of supplement they're putting in their mouth. CrossFitters are a little bit the same with CrossFit gear, and it's very, very popular. Speaking of which, the most popular now, I don't have them on today. I had them on earlier before I went surfing. Bird dogs. If you don't have them, I have to tell you this. You're a moron. If you CrossFit or do any kind of exercise, you can even wear them cycling because they do have the liner inside. It's not a compression lining, and I'm not a fan of compression because after listening to Gary Reynolds talk about icing and compression, you want blood flow there. But I don't want my junk bouncing around, and I don't want to chafe, so I like a lining. They're the perfect size, perfect stretch, and they're slim enough that the pockets don't flare out, but they have got 4 pockets, 2 in the front, 2 zipped ones in the back that are perfect size for an iPhone, so you can go, but it also fits your iPhone perfectly so that if you're running or something, it doesn't bounce and it just stays tight to you and it doesn't jiggle around and you're like, oh, that's uncomfortable. So I've used them for CrossFit. I've used them surfing. I've used them running. I've used them to ride my bike up the hill, and it's the best short out there by far for CrossFit. Number one, best short. You can get them at birddogs.com. They have no promo code because they don't love us. But I still, as long as they hate us and don't care about us, I still will talk about this shit because bird dogs are the very best short in CrossFit, and other things. Back to you finding out that triathletes like to buy shit and good shit. Was it word of mouth, or did you, because you didn't have the internet?
No.
So it was word of mouth.
It was just being at events, and then the great thing about that group, or that world of endurance athletes, they're not that competitive with each other. It's more of a community, and so if they find something they like that works for them, they're going to share it. They're going to talk about it. People in their tri group, or whatever, and the word of mouth spread. And so in Southern California, word of mouth, that's how we grew. And then so we're all of a sudden getting into, for retailers, we're getting local bike stores and run stores.
Right.
Those were our main retailers.
Did you have to sponsor any athletes?
Not then, no. I mean, there are some that we'd. I mean, if anybody wanted some, we'd definitely send product to it. We couldn't pay them.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But yeah,
I think that's how everybody starts. You create your product, and then you see if anybody will use it free, and then eventually, when you make enough money, you go after the big guns.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you. I tried like 3 different kinds. I tried the chocolate. That's the one with very low sugar, isn't it?
Yeah, the double fudge brownie.
Yeah. And then the peanut butter jelly, and then the chocolate. Is it chocolate chip?
It's a peanut butter dark chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Premium. Yeah.
And that one's pretty high in protein too, right?
It is. Yeah.
How many grams?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, that's as high as you're going to get, pretty much. Well, unless you're going to get like one of those bodybuilding ones of like 32 grams, which is like scary.
Yeah, and that holds. I can go for night.
You feel like you're eating like a cow's foot or something.
Yeah.
I'm always very skeptical of those.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think you can put 32 grams of protein in your body at a time, but how you're getting it in your body is another. It's just weird. Like if I take a protein supplement, which I rarely. I do the collagen protein. Don't you? Isn't one of yours a collagen?
Those 2 bars are collagen protein.
Yeah. That's the protein I'm doing now because it's a little bit like I'm not building muscle. It's not going to happen at my age. My testosterone's gone. It's just not fucking happening. So I want all that collagen protein, and I've just been sold on it lately, and very into it. So I do a collagen supplement every morning. I just start into my tea or coffee. Yep. And I've been doing the bone broth and stuff like that, but it's just to keep my knees and ligaments and cartilage together. So
stuff is real.
And I imagine if you're an endurance athlete, that shit's going away even faster.
Yeah, it goes away even faster, especially runners. Yeah, definitely. We all need it. We're not getting it anymore.
Yeah. So you tell me, because you know this a lot better. The protein world, I'm a little, I almost, I love nutrition, and I kind of want to delve into this whole world of all these different protein people saying, mine's better. But what I've heard is that everybody gets their protein from like the same place. Is that true?
As far as like protein supplements, powders and stuff?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. There's a big difference from as far as sourcing you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're looking at a sort of a generic, conventional whey protein, which you're going to find in your mainstream protein bars, I don't want to drop names on the show or anything, but your typical something that says whey protein or whey protein isolate or egg whites or whatever it might be.
Isolates the more purified, the one that goes through your system.
It's broken down.
Yeah.
It's broken down or more easily
than the concentrate.
absorbable.
But concentrate's what, cheaper?
Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper. It's not as I guess as so an isolate's typically 90% protein. Concentrate's typically 80.
Okay.
So you're gonna get a little bit more of something in there, right?
Yeah.
Say in whey, a little bit more of the milk or whatever.
Right.
So, but for what we're doing with that, for example, because I know exactly where we're getting our stuff from. We're using a grass-fed collagen and grass-fed whey. Comes from New Zealand, which that's where the best stuff is coming from.
Right.
It's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap, and if you're looking to strictly at the bottom line of everything as a business, which so many big businesses are now, and that's all that matters, then that's what they're going to go with a conventional, and you're going to save a lot. You're going to save a lot of money, but the quality's not there, and the nutrition's not there. The nutrition profile, the digestibility is not there. There's a big quality difference. So our focus has always been, yes, we're now a business, right?
Right.
But fortunately, we're able to be still focused on the quality of the product, and almost to a fault, we've always focused on what's on the outside, not what's on the wrapper or what's being marketed, what's inside, what's actually going in the body. That's always been our number one priority, and we've gotten passed up by many of the brands who've cut costs, but then focused on, hey, let's just brand this really, really well.
Yep. Oh, we've seen it in this business. In CrossFit, there's been a couple protein companies that have emerged as like the protein, and a lot of CrossFit gyms sell them in their gyms. And I basically just do my research and go online and try to find out what's the most natural.
Mm-hmm.
I just want the one that's going to give the least extra shit in me, and is grass fed. And so I'm on a new one right now, but I've got a buddy he nerds out way more than me, and he's like, no, that one's good, but I got even this better one you got to try. But it's just for, I'm trying to get, I don't know how many grams of protein a day, but I'm probably not getting it. I'm a big like breakfast and dinner guy, and I'll miss lunch. So I'd like to get a protein supplement in at that point, just to rebuild everything that I break down, because I'm an idiot and I'm hurting myself constantly. I'm an idiot. I went surfing today, and I thought I'd walk out over the rocks instead of like taking a right, go down the beach, and then take the long paddle. I'm like, I'm going to take a shortcut and go over the rocks. And I've surfed this one spot over 100 times, probably like 200 times in my life. And I've never done this before. And I'm like, I'm just going to walk over the rock. I start walking over, and I'm in deep. I'm holding my fiberglass surfboard, and I realize there's moss on every rock. And I'm falling every step I take onto the rocks. And I'm like standing up, and I look like this old man. I'm like crotchety, and I'm like shaking. And there's a guy standing behind me, like up on the rocks. And I turn around and I go, I don't know why I did this. And he goes, I was thinking the same thing, dude. I was just like, I'm going to fall and crack my teeth out, or cut my, break my skull open, and finally flopped out on the rocks and in a foot of water, and swam through, and probably dinged up my board in 50 places. But I was just like, this is terrible. I'm an idiot. So I'm constantly hurting myself, and I feel like, I'm just trying to find ways to repair. The show has gone, people that listen to the show have heard us from the beginning, when we all thought we were going to make the CrossFit Games, to now that we're all just trying to save ourselves from dying an early death. And so we've gone more from how can I lift that much, or how can I run that fast, to how can I wake up in the morning and I'm not going to cry.
But now you got to keep it exciting, so you got to do shit like you just did. Hey, let's walk the rocks.
Yeah, that was just dumb. I don't want to paddle far. I just want a shortcut, so I'll walk. An idiot. And then meanwhile, every wave I took me back to where I had to paddle anyway. So I'm not smart. I'm not a smart guy. I think sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm smart, and then I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm an idiot.
I think it's a guy thing, right? No, you have a daughter. I have daughters. It's I learned that.
You have two daughters, right?
2 girls and one boy. Yeah. And I realized that when they were the girls were 3, were about 3. I realized that they were already well beyond me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, my daughter.
Yeah, it's brutal.
My wife always said, don't teach her sarcasm. Or she's like, don't be sarcastic. She doesn't understand it. She won't. Now she looks at me, she's like, Dad. Yeah. And I'm like, she gets it so well. Don't tell me she doesn't understand sarcasm. I shouldn't tell the story because I'm going to sound like a terrible father, but you'll know this too. I was driving up Malibu Canyon the other day, and there was traffic. There's never traffic at this point, where we were. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm starting to get upset because I'm late. But I'm just going, there's traffic. And she's upset. She wanted to get home for something. And she's like, Dad, what's taking? And I'm like, there's traffic. There's traffic, Izzy. She's like, Dad. And I come around the turn, and there's one of those pull-offs, and there's a whole bunch of guys lining up their Lamborghinis. And they're taking photos of themselves in front of their Lamborghinis. And it's causing a bottleneck, and everybody's slowing down. And I go, oh, this is what's causing the traffic? And I hear from the back seat, douchebags. And I just turn around and I go, what did you just say? And she just smiles, and I'm like, Izzy, you can't say that. And I go, well, where did you hear that? And she's like, she just looked at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, you just said douchebags. And then I came home, and I was kind of laughing. I told my wife, and she's like, I don't know. Man.
And that's the worst, because then you have to act like you're mad and being disciplined, but you're
meanwhile, I was like,
to laugh. I was just dying.
Not only was I had to act like I was mad, but not only was I not mad, I was impressed at how well she used it.
Perfect
she
context,
said it,
right?
and I was like, perfect. Like there wasn't a better word for these losers in their Lamborghinis, all fucking standing. "Oh, take my picture," and the fact that a 3-year-old realizes at that age, and she was like, "Douchebags." I was like, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. She's smart. I gotta be proud of her for.
Yeah.
But so you ride a lot around here, huh?
Yeah.
Is that why you moved up here?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I love it up here. That's a big part of it. Just step out and then ride up the mountain, come back down in the early morning.
Yeah. So the mountain he's talking about, I do it probably once every 6 months, and you do it every day?
Like 4 days a week.
And I do it on my mountain bike, and I think it takes me about an hour to get to the top. 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Yeah. How long does it take you?
I gotta turn up the time it, man. But if I'm under 30, I'm okay with it.
It's 5 miles up 2,000 vertical. Am I about right?
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 point something, almost 6.
Yeah. And I've run up it. Well, tried to run.
Have you really? Whoa.
Yeah, I've tried. Not the road, the trail, which goes back here.
Yeah.
And it's part of the Backbone Trail. It's about 5 miles. It's 2,000 vertical still, and I forget what my time is. Not much slower than I do on the bike. And I don't know if it's a more direct route. It's probably more direct.
Probably, yeah.
But it's because it comes out to 5 miles.
Oh, well,
yeah. I think it's like 5.3 or something. But it's I've tried running it. And I just can't do it. Hunter Mcintyre, that does this show all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with Hunter Mcintyre, the OCR racer.
Yeah.
Hunter's just always lurking around here. We can't get rid of him. He's modeling in New York right now. So if you want to talk to Hunter and he talks shit on anyone, just go, "How's the modeling going?" He's part of I don't know if I can tell it yet, his new contract. But anyway, he runs it. And he runs like straight up, and I can't do it. Yeah. And I've said, come May, a whole bunch of guys that are fans of the show want to go do the Backbone from Will Rogers to Point Magoo, which is 68 miles in 24 hours.
Wow.
And I've never done an ultra. I had no intentions of doing it. I'm considering it until every day I just do that 5 mile, and I go, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll kill myself.
Yeah, but the thing about it, though, is like with those things, you end up...
Dogs are out.
Coyotes.
I don't know what it is. I know it's not the murderer.
Yeah, that's
They caught him today.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. Let's hope it's not him in the yard going, they got some other guy.
They may have got the burglar, but not the murderer.
True.
So,
yeah, so...
maybe it's one of the...
I talk about it a lot on my other podcasts, but for those of you that don't know, we live near Malibu Creek State Park, where there was a guy shot in the head, sadly shot in the head, but even more sadly with this 2-year-old and 4-year-old with him, which I can't even fathom. Yeah. Shot in the head. No one found the guy who did it. Then there turned out to be 7 more shootings related, or 6 shootings related somehow, possibly. What you hear from the media, you don't know, because they're not going to tell you the caliber of the weapons or anything, because it's an ongoing investigation. But it's been going on with these shootings lately, and then neighbors start hearing gunshots and all kinds of weird stuff. The police have been lurking around. Then there's some break-ins, some burglaries. They got a guy on film who was wearing all camo with a rifle, tactical gear, and they think today they caught him. So they caught the guy that was burglarizing, but they don't know if he is the shooter. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping he's the shooter, because it's put me on edge.
No, hell yeah.
Yeah, having kids and
brutal.
Just coming around at night and running these trails or riding your bike or something.
Totally. It's dark up here. You're in the woods. Yeah, and just knowing there's somebody out there, you might be in...
This area is called a dark sky area, where there's no ambient light because it's tucked down in the mountains. So you're not getting any of the city light on it. So we're supposed to turn our lights off at 11 and make it even darker. But even like those woods are thick, and I mountain bike back there, and if he's back there,
no, you're not coming out.
It's spooky. He shot at cars. He shot at people in tents, and
I didn't even know when we haven't been here very long. But when we first moved here, I was riding up And then I'd go up at like 4:45 in the morning, get back before the kids are up, and I'm just worried about maybe a mountain lion. That's my worst fear. You have a good spotlight and not knowing this dude was up there lurking around the whole time.
Yeah. I don't think you'd see a mountain lion out. Well, there was one right out in front of our house here.
Was it really?
But that's always been my fear, is being back on the trails and running into one, and just an angry, hungry one.
That's a fascinating animal, man.
I'm more afraid I surf every day, and I'm more afraid of mountain lions than I am of sharks. Way more afraid of a mountain lion. Yeah. But apparently they've tagged them all, and they kind of know where they are. Kind of, yeah. But when they get near but there was one in front of my house. My neighbor saw it. I didn't see it, and I'm like, if it was sitting out in front of my house. And I've just seen coyotes don't attack people that often. I mean, there's been cases, but mountain lions do, and I don't think there are many around here.
There's like one every square mile, supposedly, because they're very territorial. Say? Yeah.
Well, there's been some weird things, like someone had llamas here, or alpacas. Well, and they're like all 9 of our alpacas were killed. I'm like, who has 9 alpacas around here? But they go, it was a mountain lion did it, and one neighbor wrote on the website, like the next door, how did you know it was a mountain lion? They're like, the gardeners saw it jump out of a tree, grab an alpaca, and like jump back in a tree. Like the gardeners watched it happen. So back on those trails, that's a little scary. So now we got murderers and alpaca eating mountain lions.
There you go.
But good, have more alpacas.
Totally.
So that
Keep
they're
them off us.
Totally.
There's plenty of deer. That's what they want. But they're not right. Like sharks, like great whites in the ocean, which we have down here. Yeah. They don't want to. They don't want to.
No, they want seals, seals. So go eat the seal. I hate when I'm surfing and I see a seal. I'm like, go away, away from me. Do you mountain bike at all?
Yeah, I love to mountain bike. Yeah.
Do you do it up around here at all?
Yeah. The Backbone Trail. Yeah, it's great.
Shh, don't say that. Damn, we're not allowed to.
Are we not?
No.
Really?
I do it all the time.
Oh wow.
No one's allowed to know. I get yelled at so many times. I always go like this when they yell at me. They're like, "Hey, excuse me, you know you're not allowed to ride on the Backbone Trail," and I go, "Oh, is this the Backbone Trail?" Oh, and then I'll go, "Where does it let out?" And they're like, Point Magoo, and I'm like, okay, I'll finish there. Like 30 miles later.
Just keep your earbuds in.
No, but I'm always worried, especially right here behind my house where there's all of those trails. Yeah. I'm worried about the horses because so many people are riding horses back there, and I'll scare the shit out of them on my bike.
That's a bad deal. That's a bad situation.
Meanwhile, I know exactly where I'm going to build the jumps. I swear to God, I'm going back there and building some. I hope no one in my neighborhood listens to the show, but I am building some. There's these 2 hills where I'm like, you could just fly, and I'm building them.
I'll bring my shovel. Let me know when.
That's the thing. I got to, because there's always like horseback riders back there. I have to sneak. I'm gonna get one of those fold up shovels and like put it in a backpack. Go back, just shovel this thing really quickly, and then get out of there.
Do it.
Yeah.
Well, they know it. It's fun to be had.
So what's the future for Bonk Breaker? What's going on with
Well, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff, and we're growing fast, and we've got this a new line we just expanded with our premium protein bar, which would fit CrossFitters.
The double chocolate one,
the double fudge one,
and
that peanut butter chocolate chip. I don't know if peanuts line up with paleo, but
you know what? I think a lot of people do still. Peanuts are one of those things. It's a legume, and it apparently why it's not paleo is it. Legumes, I think they bind to your intestinal wall and don't allow you to absorb other nutrients. So it's like, it's not horrible, but it's like you're wasting all the other nutrients you're eating. You're not getting them. Okay. And, but I know Rich Froning, who was like the top CrossFitter ever, ate peanut butter all the time. I think a lot of people, I still eat peanut butter. I don't like peanuts, but I like peanut butter.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And, I eat a lot of peanut butter, and I eat bars and stuff with peanut butter in them. So I think, CrossFitters they're not crazy. The people that listen to the show eat all different kinds of diets, but I'd say primarily stick to like high protein, low carb, lots of good fats. So they wouldn't be adverse to it at all.
Yeah.
But I've eaten and I'm not just saying, like, I tried all your bars, and I'm always into finding new things that I can eat that I enjoy, because I do feel like my diet's pretty limited, and I liked every single one of them. I was like, these are great. I think they would be good for CrossFitters, especially like on the go, trying to keep your, from eating crap, and there's.
Well, and the thing is too, and how we've kind of lined it up, we're pushing innovation constantly.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sitting here saying, okay, let's make everything very consistent and planning everything out. We're still like, we're constantly, I mean, we are mindful of that, keeping the line consistent just for marketing and all that stuff, but we push innovation hard. And that's with this new bar. It created almost a different look in our packaging, because it was like this new type of bar with using collagen, grass-fed collagen, grass-fed whey blend for reasons why those things work so well together, because collagen is not a complete protein.
No.
And grass-fed whey is sort of the next premier protein that you can get, highest quality protein you can get on the market for recovery purposes, right? And so we've always been plant-based before that. Before and during.
Were you a vegan, or are you?
I attempted to. I've tried it. I did it for 3 months, and it was. I mean, I was jacked on. I was excited about it for the first couple of weeks. More, I think, morally, you're excited about it. The idea of it.
I'd like it for the moral reasons, but other than that, I could be vegan for an hour.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. There's no way I could not make it one day as a vegan. No. Not one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would just be like, I need some meat protein.
Yeah.
I need it. So,
and for some, I don't know. I mean, it's debatable, right? Debatable, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, so many vegans that we've met and come across that are just, they're vegan, but then they're still eating junk food, Doritos or whatever, Lay's potato chips, whatever it might be. But,
those guys that aren't men that are vegans, that's terrible. I'm going to have like two guys write to me and be like, why? We've had a guy on the show years ago who was a vegan CrossFitter, and we gave him the hardest time through the whole show. I think it's hard to do. Like, I think it's hard to build a lot of muscle. I mean, it's been done. There's a few guys out there that do it, but are there a lot of cyclists and runners that are vegan?
I don't.
I would even think
you hear if there's one, you hear about it.
Right.
There's a spotlight on it, right? I don't know. I mean, I think the science really, unless of course you're doing it for ethical reasons then you, of course, that's the way you go, and you can make it work and all. But I mean, just from the science, which we realized why we went that route with our premium protein bar using collagen and grass-fed whey is for recovery purposes, nothing comes close to it.
Yeah.
We're not using no sugar alcohols, low sugar, but no sugar alcohols or artificial sweeteners.
So what do you use for your sweetener?
We use a hint of a very nice stevia.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's peanut butter chocolate. You use a little bit of.
Now that I'm off sugar, I'm eating stevia, and I do it like I do a magnesium supplement at night called Calm that has a little bit of stevia in it, and it tastes great. Like I look forward to my glass of Calm every night. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is stevia or Zevia, the drink.
Yeah, sure.
I'll have a few of those a week, and I like look forward to it now because I have no sugar going into me, and I'm worried. I mean, like, it seems like stevia is the way to go. Like, everybody's like, stevia, it's natural, it's this. But they said that about saccharin. They said that about sucralose. They said that about every single one of these, xylitol. As they were coming along, they were the new, best, healthiest version. And I'm worried that we're going to find out 3, 4, 5 years from now, they're going to go, we kind of fucked up. Stevia's, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Like, now we've done, we've got 7 years of testing, and we find out that it makes your testicles shrink, or something that I'm worried about. It's kind of hard to understand because it is just it's a plant extract, right? And it is a good sweetener. And is there a reason you use that over like honey or over, agave or?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. And so for the peanut butter one we're talking about, we do use a little bit of honey as well, an organic, non-GMO honey.
Yeah.
And for our next flavor there, cookies and cream in that same line, we're using a touch of honey as well. It's just the sugars. We want to keep the sugars down. For our other bars, our energy bars and plant-based protein bars have more sugar than we use a brown rice syrup, which processes as a glucose rather than a fructose.
Okay.
Which glucose is the fuel of life, the energy of life. It goes into the brain. Every cell uses it. Fructose sits on the liver. Yeah. If it's not burned at high intensities, it turns into belly fat, right? So sugar, not all sugars are created equal. Like people would say sugar, and it's like, no, it's not.
So I got to end this up quickly because I feel like I kept him here for like a half hour, 45 minutes before the show because I couldn't get the YouTube to work. But did you become do you feel like you've learned so much about nutrition building this bar and this company? Yeah,
yes, definitely. I mean, I don't have, which I'd like to eventually go get credentials.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. It would be fun, but I mean, a lot of it comes down to just the hunger to I mean, here's the truth of it. I think, with us, we're always pushing. And there's no hunger. There's nobody that loves it more.
I hate to interrupt you, but when you say we, I skipped over the part that you have a partner who you found in racing.
Yeah, so he's a friend of mine who I connected with through. He's a professional cyclist and investment banker.
Okay.
And then after the 2008 years and financial crisis. He went a couple more years, and he's like, I got to get the fuck out of this. I'm done. I want to do something I love. I mean, he's, 50 now, I'm 36. He'd still kick my ass on a bike ride.
Oh, he's a badass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a businessman, I mean, I've learned a lot from him where we think very differently.
Okay.
And I feel like, which makes us a good partnership, and I kind of lead more with intuition and a passion filled,
and do you still, like you said, you have a new flavor. Did you create that, or do you hire somebody now to come?
No, we still do. Yeah, we still create in the house. Yeah.
So you sit at home or in the kitchen or where?
Yeah, a lot of you can still do it in the kitchen for sure.
That's crazy.
Start playing, get the base of it, to feel it down, and then fine tune it with R&D. But yeah, and I mean, back to Chris. I mean, it's a good partnership. He's very strategic and methodical, and there's reason behind everything. Where I'm more, again, just lead with my gut more so,
right.
passion, and then so we come together, and a lot of times we just seeing problems or issues or way to look at certain things from those different angles. Usually it's a nice combination. It's worked for us. Where you have too many people who are both business people. They butt heads, they'll divorce, and it's brutal, So I think it's a really good partnership, So, and we're both, all the principles are in the right place, we share that. So it's a good deal.
So you got the expert in there, which that's what I need with this show. Yeah. I need someone who knows how to run all this shit, because I'm dying, having the hardest time trying to keep this all together with the ads, the sponsors, the booking guests. It's all hell. Scott, Armin, where the hell are you? I had a few last questions, and then I'll release you to the mountain lions, because you did ride your bike over.
We can go all night.
I know. It's pretty crazy though that we do live up here, and there's so many interesting people living up here in this weird little canyon. And I know it's like a cyclist wonderland. Somebody told me that Lance Armstrong, when he was dating who's the singer that he was engaged to, or
Sheryl Crow?
Sheryl Crow. When he was with her, this is where he'd come ride when he was training for the Tour de France. I'm like, these fucking hills.
Piuma was a big one.
Yeah, he did that a lot.
Oh yeah.
That hill.
Yeah. That gives you more reason not to do it.
I sprint to the parking lot a lot.
Yeah.
And then I come back down. So I'll take my mountain bike, because it takes me, I think my record's 17 minutes or something. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a good workout. But I don't sit down. I stay on the big wheel the whole time, and I just, kill myself for 17 minutes, and I'm like, all right, enough.
Yeah.
But when I do the hour-long one or whatever, by the time I get to the top, I'm like, fuck everyone here. I hope this bike melts. I hope I fall off a cliff. This is terrible. I don't know why people do this. There's motorcycles. I could have just I could be at home watching TV. It's brutal. It's brutal. So I don't know how you guys, and you do it, what, 4 days a week?
Yeah. Try to.
Do you still do it in the dark?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I like it.
You like it better?
The lights are so good now. It's almost like when you're riding, you're looking forward. It's almost you're in this bubble of light.
Yeah.
But then when you look back, then you realize.
How many cars do you pass at that time?
Well, I'd say a couple past me going up, which
Usually going pretty fast too.
Yeah.
That's the scary.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's pretty quiet up there, especially those hours. But But you got to lift too, though. You can't just do that.
Yeah.
So you got to lift.
Yeah.
I definitely. Some rest you just wither away. Just
I keep saying that to myself. The more I hike and bike and run and surf, I'm like, I don't want to lift weight. But then I go, I'll wither away, and I need muscle mass, especially as you get older. It's so important. It's so important to keep lifting heavy, and I just fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Every time I get under a squat bar, I'm like, are my knees just gonna pop out of my legs? But got to do it. So, I can't think of any other questions.
Well, one more on that, if you have the time. A great friend of mine and massive inspiration, Don Wildman, the Wildman, who was a legend in Malibu, just passed away a few weeks ago at 85.
Oh wow!
And heliboarded in Chile this past summer at 85. Did like 11 Ironmen in Kona, but he started Bally's Fitness Clubs. Right?
Oh wow!
And sold it, and then he was just a lifter, right? All those years, and then at 55 or so, he sold the company. Then he's like, got an Ironman, then became an endurance athlete, and then rode. So he still lifted. The morning he passed away, he lifted that morning.
I want that to happen to me. Oh, that's sad.
But just nonstop. So that there's no. And his whole thing was like he rode and lifted, at least 6 days a week. And his whole thing was like, if you just the one thing to keep you young is lifting weights, resistance training.
Yeah,
is what
I believe
keeps
it.
you young. And he had this book, like this coffee table book, we showed everybody. It's called "Getting Old is for Sissies."
Yeah,
and it showed like swimmers and runners who were old, and that's all they did is endurance. And they looked so old, and skin was loose. And then the guys who lifted, they looked so much younger.
I do that a lot with my endurance friends. Also, I was a sprinter, and I show them pictures of like my friends, like, I'm running a marathon, another marathon, and I'll show them a picture of a sprinter's body compared to an endurance runner's body, and I'm like, which one do you want to have? And so I still do some sprint workouts. I'll go down to Pepperdine and run not like I used to, but I'll do the hills too. I'll do that front hill right off of PCH and just do like set of 10 of those and full sprint. I'll do full sprint uphill. But when I'm on the track, I never full sprint anymore. I'm too scared of something. I one day raced a friend and my hamstring just like popped out of my leg, and I was like, what the fuck? So cool. Age will crush you. I can't thank you enough for doing the show. This is great. It's great to have you. Your product's amazing. People out there, you should try this. Bonk Breaker. How many flavors right now? Well, they're all different kinds of products. Yeah, so just a couple of different functions. So we have about 16 flavors, and we have a couple flavors of our electrolyte energy chews. Gummies. Oh yeah, I didn't try those. Awesome. I haven't tried those. I'll take those when I go do one of my massive hikes that I'm training for. But can they get these online? Yeah, bonkbreaker.com. Amazon, of course. Oh, cool. Prime. Yeah, I mean, REI. They're going to go to Amazon retailers, Prime. Yeah. And if you go to Amazon Prime, go through eddief.com and click through the website, and we get 6% back, so it helps us. Oh, so, sweet. Yeah. It's good for the show. And I can't think of anything else other than thank you very much. No, thank you to Maya Pucks and Leopard Claw. I'll have to get you those. Troy, you're going to have to send them out. I didn't have any. Here, I usually have them, and I hand it to you, and you get it. And you looking forward to it, yeah. You're going to love it. I need it. You'll end up hooking up. By the way, Bobby, my friend Crazy Bobby, broke his foot, and he's all hooked up to it right now and won't stop. I think he has it on 24 hours a day. It's amazing. It's like having an iPhone, and then you just put the stim pads wherever. Like, so you have have 2 monitors, but they can split off, so you can have 4 going at once.
Oh, wow.
But you just put the 2 little monitors on you, and they work remotely. So there's no wires. And it just sits there and pumps your muscles. And you can either do the one that'll make your nerves tingle so that it overrides pain, or you can do the one that that pumps your muscle that'll flush the blood. Oh, especially cyclists.
Man.
I mean, you should have them on every night. But and you can do both at the same time. So the nerves, the pain going away and flushing. But for the most part, like we had Gary Reynolds on the show, and he was great. But it's all about, get all that bad shit out of you. So use a leopard claw or foam roller or Theragun or something like that. Get rid of all that bad tissue, all that bad stuff going on, and then flush it with one of these, and you're good as new. I mean, my recovery used to take forever, and I feel like I got to be honest. The people that listen to the show make fun of me all the time for being hurt. I do get hurt often, but I repair very quickly because I use all this shit now. I use everything. I'm using voodoo floss. And I just know as I get older, my body's not what it used to be. So,
are you icing too? Do you
no, so I kind of went off the icing once I listened to Gary Reynolds enough, and his whole thing is, he's anti-ice.
Is that right?
Yeah. He wrote a book called, I believe it's called Iced. Gary Reynolds. And, he was a guest on the show, and he was great, and I had heard about him years before and watched some of his stuff, but he believes that you should let the inflammatory process happen, and so icing stops that. He said you need to let it work it out, but you need to flush all the waste. And you can speed up the process, but icing stops the process. So I haven't iced anything since, and I don't believe in it right now, and until someone shows me better proof. So bonkbreaker.com, anywhere if they want to get a hold of you. Do you guys have a Instagram? Bonk Breaker?
Yeah. Bonk_breaker.
Bonk_breaker.
Yep.
And if they need to ask you any questions or want to get a hold of you?
Just give them my cell phone. Do you have an Instagram? We live it, man. Do you have an
Instagram or
don't personally
tweet or none of that shit?
No.
Yeah, well, you'll never find him. He's my friend. Yeah. You can't have him. You'll have to come through me. Yeah. If you want to check out Scott's show, Scott is doing the Sisu Way regularly, weekly. He has some amazing episodes up. Check out the Sisu Way. And Armin is at Armin Hammer TV. Armin has a lot of news concerning the CrossFit Games, what's going on with all these new events that they're adding all over the place. I mean, all over the world. And so you're going to have many, many chances to try to waste a lot of money to try to get into the CrossFit Games because you're not going to make it. Thank you again to fitlist.com. Check them out. Fitlist.com. That's FITLIST.com. If you're hiring or you need hired and you're in the fitness business, that's the place to go and get yourself some Bird Dog shorts. And thanks for listening. Go to our Patreon channel if you want to watch the videos. Patreon.com/WODcast. It might be WODcast Podcast. You'll find it. It's on our website too. And always help us out at the Patreon. Give a small donation or whatever. And go to iTunes, rate, review, comment, and review. And I think that is it. Yeah, we're out of here.